Hi again, and welcome to the Stimulate Your Relationship Show, where nothing is taboo and nothing is off limits for helping you to stimulate your relationship on all levels. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Zev Halpern. Last show, I promised to turn the heat up, so we're going to take a look at some romance enhancement products. You know, sex toys. Our guest tonight is Liz Paesani, an associate director and team leader with Pure Romance, a top leader in the industry of intimacy and women's wellness products. And she knows something about what women want from their intimate alone time and with their partners. So buckle your seatbelts. This is going to be fun, informative, and sexy. Please take this time to think about ways you can set the stage for some loving and intimacy. Sit back, open your heart and mind, and yes, consider some ways you can explore and enhance your relationship. Here's tonight's Rev with Zev moment. I'm sure for any of you who have experienced great sex in your relationship, you might understand the disappointment and embarrassment if sex paused, even for many legit reasons. Legit reasons, you ask? Like performance, erectile dysfunction, vaginismus, when having sex is physically painful, sexual trauma, there are many victims out there, or just turned off due to relationship stress. Problem is, you won't know because people don't like to talk about sex, especially about a problem they're suffering from. I coach my client couples to consider alternatives they can do together to keep the heat alive. If someone is struggling with reasons to not have sex, good chance the other is struggling with wanting, needing, and worried what the present and especially the future will bring in regards to sexual intimacy. There are many temptations out there in the world, and in cyberspace, there are no limits. Sure, there are ebbs and tides of intimacy and relationships for all of us. The trouble is, when we let it slide, stop talking together, instead of finding ways to keep romance and physicality alive, we set the stage for relationship trouble. So here's a tip. Try something new that will help you both find ways to keep the romance and heat index set on together. Find ways to be more romantic, play enticing games, create fantasy scenarios, and find a sex toy you can play with together. If you aren't turned on, you can still find ways to pleasure your partner and keep the relationship healthy. If you need help, I have a relationship stimulation formula that's helped many couples, and I encourage you to be encouraged and reach out for help. Take a look at this, and we'll be right back to introduce you to tonight's guest.
Scrivo quest'ultima canzone solo per ricordarti, partita.
Welcome back. I invite you to log on to my website, stimulateyourrelationship.com. Check out my digital courses and join my list so you continue to receive helpful ideas. Keep it romantic and stimulated. Now let's meet tonight's guest. Liz Paesani is an associate director and team leader with Pure Romance, a leader in the industry of intimacy and women's wellness products. She is nearing her 4th year in business and started her journey with the company as an avenue to meet new people and earn extra income. She has gone on to earn an all-expense-paid cruise to the Bahamas and will graduate from the Future Leaders program in August. Her passion is to educate, entertain, and empower women and their partners with a desire to also grow a team of women who share in the same mission. Welcome, Liz. So glad you came out tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's just talk about, you do parties for women.
Yes.
What's it like to do parties for women? I mean, what's it like to gather people together and show them a line of products?
It's honestly, it's just a lot of fun. Get your girlfriends together. I come over with my full array of products, everything from bath and beauty products, massage, foreplay, lingerie, intimacy enhancement products, and we get to have a good laugh. You get to pamper yourselves.
It's in a home environment, so
Yes.
it's a little less scary.
Yes, and it's safe because
And
it's
you
all
know the
women.
people, and
Exactly.
you know the people.
So they're all your girlfriends or friends of your girlfriends. So everybody's comfortable to ask questions and just kind of enjoy themselves.
So it's parties for women, by women.
Yes.
And that's how it's presented. Because
Correct.
So what do people talk about? Do they complain about their sex lives? Do they talk about how they want to get fulfilled?
A little bit of everything. We kind of steer the party a little bit. Here's what we offer in this category. These are some issues that you're having, then this can help with that. Whether it is, a decrease in libido, or you want to spice things up, or I really just don't feel good about myself. We have things that can help you do that as well.
So what about the whole idea of, I found, there's an old kind of an adage, 99%, of men masturbate, 1% lie, It's a joke, it's
Yes.
funny, but there's some truth to the matter. I work with couples and to find ways to enhance their relationships and to use romance products and to try different new things. How do you deal with, people? I found women, when I'm meeting with a couple, are that it's not 99% at all, and that many have huge hang-ups about doing it themselves or with somebody. I mean, that's 2 categories right there. How do you deal with that? I mean, I'm sure that people come to the party, they're not all ready to, rock and roll and, buy your products and, do all that.
Correct. And for some people, it's just a gradual introduction to things to make them a little bit more comfortable because it's nothing they've explored before.
Right, they're not going to hear about it. They're not, they might hear about it from a friend, but a
Right.
lot of people don't know.
And they don't know, they're not comfortable because it's always been, as you said before, very taboo. It's not something you talk about. We
No,
don't
and
talk about
extremely
sex.
taboo. I mean, taboo to the point of,
Like,
like
oh my
that, like
gosh,
this is very
I couldn't do
uncomfortable.
that.
And I've experienced that with couples who are in front of me tons of times. I see, okay, how do you get your spouse to want to participate in that, together? Whether sex is working or not. If this is an issue of, okay, sex is working, but we want to enhance it, or we're trying to make it work again. We want to do something together. How do you get the other person to, to want to do that? From your party perspective, do they ask you those questions? How do I get my spouse into this? How do I?
A lot of people, it's just the introduction of the conversation. It's just communication and kind of, if you feel like your partner may have a hang up about it, gradually introducing the topic. This would be really exciting for me if we did this together. Something like that to make it so it's not just you come home with something, be like, hey, let's do this. And they're like, whoa.
Like, let's do this. have fun.
Right.
You know, like enjoy yourself.
Like, okay,
you
go
know?
ahead.
You know, right. I'll talk to you tomorrow. You know, that, I mean, I'm sure that's happened. I mean, the classic thing that happens in the old, you hear about it is, you know, the husband in the old stereotypical thing would come home and, you know, she's got no clothes on, standing at the door, you know, and he walks right by her, you know, and it's extremely disappointing and extremely,
Right.
it's almost tragic, you know, in its, you know, if you look at it too much. But in this case, it's the introduction of electronics, you know, the whole issue of the internet, you know, being, you know, people have sex with the internet. And every day across America, millions of people do that.
Right.
Right or wrong, whatever the case is, it's just a fact. You know, it happens. In this case, there's so many kinds of, you know, vibrators. But the truth is that you could walk right by them. You know, if your mind wasn't, you know, like in some gift store where you see a whole wall full of, and people, they don't see it because their mind isn't focused. So the whole party issue is to kind of get other people's experience. Oh, I tried that. Is that how it works?
A little bit, yes. So we talk about, you know, different types of products, and I have a lot of my girls do, I call it the product shout out game. If you have a product that I'm showing and you love it, you want to, you know, give a product shout out, say why you love it, you'll get a ticket for a drawing. Some people are a little bit more hesitant when it comes to the toy aspect, but they'll be like, that's amazing, everybody needs to get one of those.
That's what the person who
Right.
had the experience with it
Correct.
does. And is there ever, I mean, do people ever get embarrassed? You know, is there embarrassment? How do you deal with embarrassment?
I haven't come across that yet. 4 years almost, and I haven't found anybody that's too embarrassed to talk about things. Even if they're a little bit embarrassed in the group, we do individual one-on-one shopping, so they can ask me anything and feel completely safe.
So in the whole issue of going to a party, being in a relationship, maybe not being in one that's particularly very sexy, you know, or one that you might not have felt that you signed on for because there isn't any, you know, sex, and it's all about work, you know, the business of relationships
Right.
instead of the business of doing, you know, of being in a relationship. What do you do with that, you know, whole aspect of just wanting to try it, you know, and they ask your advice, you know, what do I do? How do I, you tell them how to use it, you tell them some ideas, you know, other women tell them, this is what I told him, you know, this is what I, you know, said, and, you know, it's been great since, you know.
Yeah, we definitely give some ideas for, you know, introducing products. You know, if you're not quite ready for, you know, a toy yet, maybe work in some, you know, massage play, you know, some kind of foreplay issue, some lingerie, something to kind of spice it up a little bit as you work towards bringing that sexy time in.
And a lot of people buy stuff. People just, you know, I mean, word of mouth and word of experience really matters.
Yes.
And do they get, I mean, is there a certain camaraderie in there? I mean, is it like sisterhood kind
Absolutely.
of thing? Sisterhood of pleasure and finding ways to increase your pleasure.
Right.
In your relationship or by yourself, you know,
Right.
which a lot of people, you know, that whole topic of yourself, you know, I have a friend, you know, who's a sex therapist, and she does this amazing thing about masturbation, and it's just pretty taboo, and, you know, I would understand why that works, the party atmosphere works, because it's people relating to people. So anyway, we'll be right back with another segment of Sexpectations. See you soon. So Liz brought products and things for us to look at, kind of show and tell. And there's a whole, you know, I talked to a lot of men and women, and a lot of women, you know, have said that they've tried it and their husbands wanted them to, you know, try it, but it wasn't the right one. You know, it's got to be the right one, right?
Yes.
For a particular person, that really matters. Right. Can you just, you know, so we introduce one of the big introduction ones, and certainly, you know, I also, you know, recommend this one is the, I think it's called the
This is the
Premiere. The Premiere.
So this is just a very small fingertip bullet. Okay, it's a clitoral vibrator, and you can use this on yourself. Your partner can use it on you.
This is certainly something that's made for dual play, not just somebody by themselves. This is definitely one, that
It can definitely be used for both.
that can be used for both, but also that they can, that makes sense, and it's a kind of a introductory, in some ways.
Right,
And
exactly.
it's non-intrusive. A lot of people talk about that. The difference, with sex toys is, I don't want something intrusive. I want something, stimulating.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so a lot of it is finding out, do you prefer something internal or external, or both? So figuring that out will kind of lead us into which direction we should go into, whether it's something like the Premier or, something more internal that we can touch on in a bit.
So is there something, that you brought that would be the next thing?
Sure.
Somebody goes, yeah, I'd like to try something internal and
Internal, we'll probably look for this one. This is from our Euphoria collection. This is called the V39. And this is a vaginal vibrator. And you see it has just a little bit of girth to it and a little curve. So it's a little more comfortable, and it's super soft silicone. So it's going to feel much more natural. Non-porous, so infections, etc., not going to happen. So has 9 different speeds and pulsating patterns, so you can kind of figure out what works for you. Okay. It also warms up.
Oh.
Yes, so that's one big feature of this line, is that they're warming toys, so it kind of feels even more natural.
What about the whole issue of being ready, for it? The whole issue of
Foreplay.
yeah.
Yes, foreplay is huge. Say you don't want to put a turkey in a non-preheated oven.
Thank you.
So same thing.
Now we'll always think about Thanksgiving.
Right.
We'll think about Liz and Thanksgiving.
Yes. So we have a lot of different, kind of foreplay toys as well. And our most popular one right now is called the Box Office, because this is actually a remote-controlled panty vibrator. So this is great for date night. All you do is you put this in your panties, turn it on, it latches in magnetic straps to hold it in place.
High tech, Liz.
Yes.
Very high tech stuff.
Very high tech. And then you give this to your partner, and they get to control the buzzing and stimulation that you get through the evening.
I had someone on the show one time who presented travels all over the world away from her husband, and that there's actually a product now out there on the market where the computer drives the toy, and so they're in Europe to America,
Countries apart, yeah.
and they're actually having relations over the computer, which is rather amazing.
That is
when you
very
think about it,
amazing.
you can only imagine what's coming
Right.
next, in this. So what else?
So that in there. I've got a type of bullet, one that's a little bit stronger, because sometimes that's just not, the Premier just isn't quite enough for some people. So we have, this is called the Serena. Again, very small, but very powerful. So a lot of 7 different speeds and functions, so you can find out, what you like and what you and your partner like together.
Because everybody, in sex, men and women, all have feelings, that are different.
Yes.
We're different, and we feel differently, and I think that they've accounted for that.
Yes, and sometimes, you just need a little bit more than before. Like, I can tell a lot of women, we're women, our libidos change like every 5 minutes. So you want something that's going to encompass all those changes.
And the truth is that I talk to a lot of couples where a woman is, hormone treatment or something, and they're just all, but they woke up, and from a, Rip Van Winkle, they woke up from 100 years of sleep in their relationship, and then they're feeling like this need, and this whole issue of getting, what I try to do is get couples to entertain another option. Okay, you can't perform. Okay, you can't get an erection. Okay, it's all okay. It doesn't mean That's the end of your relationship.
Right.
We live in 2019, and there's a whole different thing going on.
There are many options.
And so what else?
We've got one more here, one more toy. This is actually a constriction ring. And this one actually has two different rings here. The first one is for the penis, so this is just going to slide right down the shaft, and it's actually incredibly stretchy. So some people are like, oh, that's not going to fit. Yes, it will. Okay. And the second one you can pull down and kind of wrap it around your partner's testicles. So it kind of pulls them up, give them a little vibration.
So I used to have this, when I'd give presentations to, and still when I give presentations to groups, I had a box of these, of different kinds. And, the one that disappears from the box all the time is this monkey that lights up. Okay, it's everything that does, and, but I'm sure that does more. This is more like a, I don't know what to call it. It would be like a novelty.
Right.
And, novelty is the whole point. This is extremely novel stuff, and novelty correlates with good, healthy sexual relations. People,
Yes.
It's about your brain, and the things in your brain go off, and when it's boring, and it's boring, but when it's novel, it's novel. And these, I'm sure there's other women who go, oh, that one,
Like, that looks like fun. Yes. So, so this.
We only have a little more time.
Okay.
How about? So you also sell
Yes. So
clothes
we have,
line.
yes, we have a lot of lingerie items, everything from really sexy to very cute. This is actually my best seller because everybody loves this robe. Like, I don't know, everybody loves it. And it comes with a slip and panty.
Well, it's got some kind of magic.
It's just that cute little sexy robe everybody likes.
Yeah.
So that's, I like to tell women, think of lingerie like wrapping up a Christmas present. It's that anticipation. And we have different styles for all different types of
Right.
bodies.
Body sizes. That's a whole.
Right. All shapes and sizes. Just kind of depends on what you like. This is one of our cute little two-piece sets.
Right.
It's super stretchy, and it's not itchy lace like a lot of lingerie can be uncomfortable. So ours are actually very comfortable.
All right. So that's all we have time for. And Liz, it's been great that you came out and extremely knowledgeable about what you do. I know
Thank you
some
for having
people who are also extremely knowledgeable about this area, and it's amazing to have experience in that. And I thank you for coming out and sharing it, and being so open and straightforward about it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
To find out more about Liz Paesani and what she does for Pure Romance, check this out. My consulting and coaching practice has allowed me the unique privilege and opportunity to work with a wide array of couples, both face-to-face in Maryland and virtually all over the world, through my online relationship stimulation consulting practice. I invite you to find out more how I can help you stimulate your relationship through my Stimulate Your Relationship Couples Coaching programs, events, and retreats. Get in touch with me. Let me help you transform your relationship into the next level of your intimacy. Follow me on all the social media platforms. We'll leave you tonight with a few ways to stimulate your relationship. Say I like it when your partner does anything that makes you feel special and sexy, and you will increase the chances of it occurring more often. That makes sense. Focus on improving the quality of your daily contacts before work, after work, weekends, special occasions, and your relationship will improve exponentially. Ask sincerely what your partner needs from you, not what you think they need, and deliver it lovingly. You both will be beneficiaries in the short and long term. Finally, try asking yourself what's right with your relationship instead of focusing on what's wrong. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Zev Halpern. See you next time for a new episode of stimulate your relationship.